Hi, I'm Jeff Winsett here with my brother JR on CPR, Your Lifeline. We have AHA on Zoom today, and he's here to tell us about what American State Nationalist is and how to reclaim your birthright. And without further ado, our brother Arnie Hector Alba, your AHA moment.
How you doing? Yes, I'm an American State National, and I've been recorded as American State National since 2018. And I put together a really kind of a quick presentation for you guys. It's a lot of information kind of packed into a few slides, and I put it together in a way that it tells the story, kind of from the problem to the solution. And so I'm going to share the screen with you guys here and show you what we got. Okay. You guys got a visual on that?
Yeah.
All right. So um, I spent a lot of time on this presentation. I gathered information from not all of my sources, but from my sources. And I put them all together in 31, there's 31 slides. I could have done 131 slides, honestly, but I mean, I really tried to hone this thing down so that we can keep it, for the sake of time. And here you go. And here's our cover sheet. We are We the People, 1776, September 9, the United States of America, major, unincorporated, the actual country, our original physical continental land and soil jurisdiction. We operate under American public law, Bill of Rights, statutes at large, Geneva Convention, Northwest Ordinance. We are living men and women on the land. We have our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution for the United States of America, which was the original equity contract for commercial services. And so that's what constitutions are, guys. They're contracts to perform commercial services or services. Okay, so we are American State Nationals and American State Citizens. You become a national first, then you get a little time under your belt, learn the ropes, then you become an American State Citizen. Citizen means in service to a state or a government, or a king or a government. So if you want to be a citizen, you have to choose to be a citizen. Don't ever let anybody force you into citizenship, especially foreign citizenship, municipal and British territory, U.S. citizenship. Don't let anybody force you into a citizenship that you're not fully disclosed of and aware of exactly what that means. And if you want to be a citizen at all, and if you're an American, you should become an American state citizen. So, 10 maxims of law for our country, which was founded on the Geneva Bible, 1599, 10 commandments, and of course, all of these other documents are our foundational documents. We're sovereign people. The people is the militia. Militia means people in Hebrew. It's the same thing. We have unincorporated jural assemblies, meaning, we don't have jural societies and people who are foreign citizens or citizens of a foreign state running jural assemblies for our country. That does not happen. We don't allow that. In order to join one of our unincorporated jural assemblies, you have to first become an American national, join the jury pool, and then decide whether you want to become a state citizen for your country. We are the employers of all of the governments on the land worldwide. All countries have governmental service providers. And these are the municipal and territorial governments, and these are the citizenships that are formed. These are all employees of ours. We employ these governments. So you guys got to understand that. You got to start acting like an employer. You are an employer. Don't let them boss you around. All right. Next slide. We had declared peace on the land. James Clinton Belcher is head of state for the United States of America, unincorporated. He has the authority He holds authority over the seals and the flags. You know, he just happened to be in the family that inherited all the seals and the flags, and so he has the authority to exercise the authority. He has authority to exercise the summoning the states into session. So the United States of America, unincorporated Federation of States, is the summoning authority. They have summoned all 50 states into session, and all 50 states are in session. And we have one of the first orders of business was, we declare peace because we're not at war, and we fly the peace flag. I want to just read through this real quick because it's real important that you guys get a hold of this. International Peace Proclamation. To all whom these presents come, this proclamation provides explicit and official international notice that peace has been declared by and among the Union States of the States of America and Federation States of the Union in receipt of the authorities of the former Confederate States in matter of the American Civil War. All jurisdictions and instrumentalities must comply. All federal, territorial, and municipal officers, including all uniformed officers, must comply. It is required that all hostilities related to the American Civil War, being conducted as a mercenary conflict in international and global jurisdictions and having been maintained for 156 years by our foreign subcontractors, must cease and desist without further legal presumption of authority. With this public announcement, all executive orders issued during and as a result of the American Civil War are set aside, effective at midnight on the 1st of August in the year of 2021. All medical officers and all general staff and reserve and retired elements of the American Armed Forces, U.S. Armed Forces, United States Armed Forces, U.S. Armed Forces, hospital, corps, medical units, Veterans Administration, United States Department of Defense, UN peacekeepers, DOD officers, NATO officers on shore, and all elected, appointed, or promoted personnel and their dependents are required to cease and desist all gene therapy extinction protocols, coerced injections, mask mandates, and similar measures being promoted by the territorial and municipal United States government, and breach of trust and under false presumption of war. All peacekeeping officers and police officers are fully informed. There are no allowable exceptions and no other powers extended. So said, so signed, and so sealed into this first day of August in the year 2021 by our head of state. All right, that's an important document. And there's other documents on the website, at American State Nationalist website on the record. You'll notice there's other documents that you guys can go and read. I could have put them all on here, but that's a good one. This is a quick excerpt from the website. Your government is supposed to be staffed by you, not citizens of a foreign state, not foreign agents, undeclared foreign agents, not anyone other than declared and recorded American state nationals and American state citizens. Its decisions are supposed to be made by you. Its primary responsibility is to protect you and your property assets at all costs against all comers. That's why government exists, and that is the only reason for any government to exist ever. But what if your government doesn't protect you? What if instead your government preys upon you, threatens you, harasses you, and makes you miserable and fearful, which is what they do in foreign governments? Then something's terribly wrong, right? So 6 generations of Americans have been preyed upon, threatened, and harassed by something posing as their government. It isn't our government. It's a substitute government services corporation run by 2 federal subcontractors. You are supposed to be self-government. You're supposed to be running your government. But where are you? Welcome to our assemblies. Here we are. Come join us, guys. So here's an important message that needs to be understood. America has never been a democracy. The British Territorial United States, Inc. is a democracy, which is a British territorial commonwealth under contract to provide our American states with certain enumerated services. They are a democracy. America has never been a democracy. America has never been a plenary oligarchy or municipal government functioning as a Roman patriarchal republic or civil government either. America is composed of 50 republican states that are the union of unincorporated counties within the physical boundaries of each state. Incorporated entities cannot serve as true counties nor as true states, and incorporated legislatures have no ability to pass laws affecting living men and women. So we are not a republic, we are not a democracy, and not the subjects of any foreign statutory law. These plain facts need to be firmly understood by every American. We are owed a republican form of government. Is the answer. So what is the municipal government? Here you go. Municipal, United States, doing business as. District of Columbia, doing business as. Municipal Corporation of the District of Columbia, USA Inc., Department of Defense Inc., etc., and all of their agencies. Washington, D.C., United States Inc., doing business as states of states in all caps, such as the state of Colorado, the state of New Mexico, and so on. The government of the United States. F is, the municipal government of the United States consists of FBI, FEMA, IRS, BLM, and all of the three-letter alphabet soup agencies, which are all foreign agents with respect to your continental United States of America, land and soil jurisdiction. So what happened? During the so-called Civil War, one of our federal government service providers, the British-backed territorial U.S., attacked a breakaway group of the original states of America, calling themselves the Confederate States of America. It was a catfight among the federal service providers, both ends, and would-be service providers. Not a war at all. No sovereign entity was involved in that war. It wasn't a war. No declaration of war was ever issued by the land jurisdiction Congress, and no treaty of peace ever concluded. So it was a mercenary conflict on our shores, like every other so-called war since then. After this illegal mercenary conflict on our shores was over, the British territory of the United States usurped upon the original states of America and seized upon them as trust property to be managed by the British territorial U.S. in trust, while the national level government they were supposed to provide us with was held in abeyance. The original states of America were rolled over into a trust. The original state of Florida became Florida State Trust, and we have a Colorado State Trust, and so on. New territorial states of America, deceptively called by the same names, replaced the original unincorporated states of America without people knowing. So that, on the surface, nothing appeared to have changed. So the state of states were replaced by territorial states, and nobody knew the difference. As a result of this fraud and deceit, the intended structure and balance of power, including the checks and balances built into the federal government, was undermined and commandeered by the British-controlled territorial U.S. Inc. From there, it has been a long history of breach of trust and commercial mismanagement and false claims made against the actual states and people, you and I. If you compare this simple, straightforward, strictly compartmentalized original structure of the federal government with what has developed over time, you see the gross proliferation of incorporation and privatization of the territorial and municipal levels of the essential government service providers, most especially the development of municipal states of states, which were appointed to do the dirty work for the insolvent territorial states of states in 1951. And right now, the principal parent corporation is in charge of all this fraud. The small t, the United States Inc., all caps, and the USA Inc. are both bankrupt, one in liquidation, the US Inc., and one in reorganization, USA. And we, the United States of America Unincorporated, are in court fighting the widespread supposition that we no longer exist and that our assets are abandoned and are available to pay the debts of these disloyal foreign federal service providers to their secondary creditors. We are doing the work. So we're taking over all of the delegated powers that we originally delegated by a constitutional contract has been returned under Article 10 of the original equity contract, Constitution 4 of the United States. So the municipal government, why did they go bankrupt and why are they in breach of trust? Look at this. Just take a look at this, right? This is the problem with the municipal and the U.S. territorial government. Notice of violations and failures to perform. Notice of claim of sole relief and remedy under Title 50, Section 7, 2012. Notice of violation of the Layman Act. Attempted attachment and seizure of unregistered trademarks. Notice of violation of Admiralty Maritime and Prize cases, Title 28. Notice of violation of special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States, Title 18. Notice of violation of Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act of Title 39. Violation of Presumption of the Public Vessels Act, Title 46. Violation of False Claims Act. That's a big one, Title 31. Violation of Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act, right? Title 28. Violation of the United States statutes at large. They completely ignore that. And that is statutes at large trump revised statutes. Notice of administrative failure by the IRS, Revenue Service, for failure to produce credit vouchers and proof of claim as required by the Administrative Procedures Act, the Emergency Banking Act, and the United States statutes at large, Title 12, Section 411, which is a code that you guys could use to open a lawful money banking account, keep the IRS off your back. I'll talk about that later. Notice of violation of the Geneva Conventions by the United States Department of Defense and the United States Department of Treasury, failing to protect and defend our persons, our lawful persons. The foreign sovereigns are alive and present and accounted for on the land and soil of these United States. Private Registered Indemnity Bond, AMR 100001, municipal and territorial birth certificates are set aside and returned to the Secretary of the United States Treasury. Notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent. There are no superseding powers of attorney or any valid dead letter administration, not a point of law, a claim of exemption and indemnity. We are indemnified from this crime, guys. This is a beautiful thing. So here's a notice, public notice to the United States Inc. and the USA Inc. Public notice. We, the American states and people, are not dead, not slaves, not donating our estates, our names, our copyrights, our land, or anything else to you and your corporations. We are not standing as sureties for the debts of the United States Inc., nor the United States Municipal Inc., Municipal United States. We are giving full, fair, and public notice of these facts. We are disgusted by and estranged from the territorial United States and the municipal United States and the members of Congress, that's not our Congress, representing these foreign entities which have encroached and usurped upon us by means of fraud, hypothecation of debt, and unlawful conversion of assets, not to mention securitization of flesh. With respect to us and as commercial corporations, the territorial United States and the municipal United States have no sovereignty, no immunity, no delegated authority to seize upon the American states, nor the American people, nor any asset rightfully belonging to us. They have no duty, no right, no office, no power, guys. Failure to respect our paramount claim to our lives, souls, bodies, land, names, copyrights, trademarks, and all other intellectual property and material rights, free will and all else that rightfully and naturally belongs to us will result in the international liquidation of your corporations, the removal of your officials from our shores, and the international prosecution of the offenders, which are the individuals on the boards of directors of these corporations. Beware. The United States of America and all member land jurisdiction states are alive and well. People of this country, on all counties, have reclaimed the land jurisdiction and returned their native domicile to their native domicile on the land. This is your notice that we have done so and that we first made this announcement and these claims in 1998, which is about when I started this whole thing. We are posting this public notice via email on all bulletin boards, blogs, chat rooms, news services, and cyber publications worldwide. And it is on the international record as well. Yes. So these are the notices that we could use to put on down at the post office, at the courthouse, and everywhere that you can think of. You know, we have several of these notices. Like I showed you the other one. This is another one. So I just wanted to throw this slide in here real quick because it's pretty important. You know, we've been brought up speaking a language that we were taught that's kind of misguided us. And it's legalese and it's a British law. And so this right here is just a really quick demonstration of the differences in the language. You can see on the left, it's all foreign incorporated international jurisdiction of the Holy See. And you know, it's all the Pope's jurisdiction, special admiralty, maritime courts, crown, citizens, legal persons, civilly dead entities, public servants, residents, and employees on the left side. On the right side, you'll see our language. We are the original continental land and soil jurisdiction, American common law, state and county courts, lawful persons, living men and women, self-governing, and employers of the government. Just to name a few, they are U.S. citizens or citizens of the United States. We are state citizens or state nationalists. They operate under constitutions and contracts. We operate under our Declaration of Independence. They call themselves a nation. We are a country. They are federal. We are continental. They are a democracy. We are a republic. Republican form of government, which is a republic. We vote, or they vote, but we elect. They use political parties. We do not. We use state governance and county governance. They fly our wartime flag, and we fly our peacetime flag. They operate under oaths. We use affirmations. They use pledges. We use proclamations. They are under equal civil rights. We are under natural, unalienable rights. They are legal persons. We are lawful persons. They are indentured servant. We are sovereign. They use contracts. We use good faith agreements. They are corporations, LLCs, and whatnot. We are family businesses, unincorporated. They use signatures. We use autographs. They use notary publics. We use public notaries. They register everything. We record everything. They use trustee, executor of trusts. We use statements and testimony. They use commerce. We use trade. They use bankruptcy protection. We're responsible for our actions. They use administrative courts. We use common law courts. They're taxpayers. We're priority creditors. They're resident inhabitants. We're domiciled, home. They're tenants. We're the landlord. They use real estate titles. We use land patents. They have personal property. We have private property. They use driver's license. We're free to travel. They have motor vehicles. We have automobiles. They use insurance. We have an indemnity bond. We're indemnified. They use prefixes, Mr., Mrs., and whatnot. We don't use prefixes. God didn't give us a prefix in our name. They use honorable esquires. We don't have titles of nobility. We have counselors in law. They use marriage license. We use proclamation of lawful marriage. They use birth certificate. We use baby deeds, records of live birth. They use date of birth. We use born nativity date. They use medical doctors. We use physicians. They call themselves male and female, such as animalistic terms. We are man and woman. They are persons, legal persons, and human, color of man. We are man and living. So these are important terminology, you guys. Just kind of get the hang of it, you know, get the hang of speaking correctly. So what is a citizen, lowercase c, versus a citizen, uppercase c? 14th Amendment, U.S. lowercase c citizen is means the term resident and citizen of the United States is distinguished from the uppercase citizen of one of the several states. Okay, you guys really got to get this down. Lowercase c citizen of the U.S. Inc. is distinguished from a citizen of one of the states of the Union. So a living person can only create a dead thing, is what it's saying. So I'll just start over. The term resident and lowercase c citizen of the United States is distinguished from the uppercase c citizen of one of the several states, in that the former is a special class of citizen created by Congress. That is, a lowercase c citizen of the United States is a statutory citizen, a creature of state created by legislative action. It's dead. United States, meaning territories and District of Columbia. In 1967, congressional record stated a lowercase citizen of the United States Inc. is civilly dead entity operating as a co-trustee and co-beneficiary. Yeah, co-beneficiary, not even beneficiary of the private constructive cessation trust of the U.S. Inc. under the 14th Amendment, which upholds the debt of the USA and the U.S. Inc. In Section 4, it neatly explains once and for all what a lowercase citizen of the United States is in federal parlance as opposed to popular speech, and underlines the need for Americans to forthrightly expatriate from such lowercase c citizenship and instead declare their allegiance to the land of their nativity, for example, like here in Colorado, become a Coloradan. Therefore, U.S. Inc. citizens residing in one of the states of the Union are classified as property and franchises of the federal government as individual entity. Okay, so when you see what they've done with the word citizen here, there's dead citizens and then there's living citizens. Citizen of a corporation is dead. Citizen of a country, of an actual assembly, a state citizen is a living citizen in service to the actual country. A civilly dead citizen in service to a corporation entity is in service to the king or the pope, actually. And who wants to serve him? He's a convicted criminal. So here you go. This is a cool chart. You have on the far left an American state national status. This is a status chart. The next chart over is an American state citizen status. So like I said before, you first become a national, get on the land, come on home, then decide if you want to just stay as a national and be free and enjoy your life, or if you want to help us to stand up our common law courts and dissolve these corporations and fire up our assemblies, then become a state citizen, American state citizen. That's column number 2. These are American public officers, okay, for the American public, which is American State National column on the left. So the third column, federal United States citizen. Okay, so this column right here is our federal state of state, our confederation of states. It's under construction. We don't have right now a federal state of state organization, but these citizens are true federal citizens and are called state citizens, and they are not considered, while employed by the federal government, to be dual citizens of their state, and they work directly for and are commissioned by the United States of America Unincorporated Federation of States. These are our peace officers, guys, that we need you guys to come and fill these positions. Okay, and they're in control of the land jurisdiction of this country and the non-delegated powers owed to the sovereign states in international jurisdiction of the sea under Amendment 11, or Amendment 10. Federal marshals are now called continental marshals, and we have fired up our continental marshal service, and they're in assembly mode, and we're recruiting and hiring people right now. We have no commissions, but we have that the service is up and running and being populated. And we are civilian peacekeepers who work within the multi-state federal postal district areas. Federal postal district courts are also staffed by United States citizens. They are all federal employees, and they enforce the constitutions and the United States statutes at large and public laws as published on the congressional record. Postmasters and other examples of land jurisdiction United States citizens, the members of the Coast Guard, the Border Patrols, also technically United States citizens. But these are unincorporated, guys. These are federal unincorporated United States citizens. And there's a lot of vacant seats right here that need to be filled. Okay, and of course, in this second column right here, a lot of vacant seats that are being filled, currently being filled. Okay, you guys know that we have all 50 states in session, and we have people filling seats in all 50 states right here in this column. They've already come to this call to become American State Nationals. They've decided to join their assemblies and become American state citizens. And some people are already joining the federal United States, Confederation of States, and becoming marshals and whatnot. And so here you go, the two columns on the far right. These are our subcontractor governmental service providers. These are the troublemakers. Because of these two entities, these first three entities are suffering. Because these two entities, the territorial United States government and the municipal government, and their citizenry, who has all been lied to and coerced into their jurisdiction, this whole mess right here is what we're dealing with. This is the problem. We need to clean this mess up. All territorial United States citizens and municipal state citizens need to correct their status. And if you are not a federal employee or in the military or a federal dependent, then you don't belong over here in these columns. You need to come back to the far, far left and join the American public and decide whether or not you want to be a citizen at all. So you don't have to even be any one of these citizens, you guys. You can just be free. But, if you're like Hefe and me and JR, right here, we're the three guys on this call putting this on a presentation on for you. If you're like us, then you're going to want to become a national, then become a state citizen and join your assemblies, and then decide whether you want to help your national assemblies, your county and state assemblies right here. And then you can, even if you get enough knowledge under your belt, you can go up to the federal side and serve your actual American federal government as a continental marshal or a peacekeeping officer, or PKTF, Peacekeeping Task Force. You can join these guys, American federal marshals, as opposed to U.S. marshals. You see, U.S. marshals are corporate. Continental marshals are original jurisdiction. We're not incorporated. We serve the actual American states and people at the continental marshals. Our service does. So, I could keep going. I could go on a little bit further, but I'm going to skip to the bottom here. You guys just really study this chart. Read this and really get to know and decide where do you fit in? Where do you fit in right here? Pick a lane. There's 5 lanes right here. You need to pick one. Okay. So the bottom line, if you are not actually employed by a federal subcontractor and not a dependent of a federal employee or voluntary recipient of unearned welfare benefits, nor a political asylum seeker, I'm sorry, I'm reading this wrong. If you are not actually employed by a federal subcontractor and not a dependent of a federal employee, nor a voluntary recipient of unearned federal welfare benefits, nor a political asylum seeker, okay, or knowing and willing volunteer or paid agent of the 2 foreign federal subcontractors. If you're not any of that, then you are in fact an American state national or state citizen. Your earnings are not federal income, and you are not generally subject to federal codes, rules, and regulations unless you are engaged in interstate manufacture or sale or transport of alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Period. That's how they get you. If you are a corporation, transactor in commerce, engaged in interstate manufacture, sale, and transport of alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, that's how you become a municipal citizen. If you're to become a territorial citizen, you join the military, you join one of the armed forces. That makes you a British U.S. citizen. And so the thing is they were always supposed to fight to protect us. They were supposed to be a protectorate, but they turned against us. Okay, and they hijacked our seals and our flags and and they literally took over our assemblies and took over and lied to us and made everybody believe that they were our real assemblies when in fact they were all foreign. So now we've come to the point where we've realized this, and we've caught them all, and we've called them all out, we've bankrupted them, and we went ahead and put our 50 states in session, and we're just going to scoop them on out of here. Either they come into honor under the public law, the American public law, do their job like they were hired to do originally, or they are out. We're going to dissolve them, and we're going to hold their individuals on their boards of directors are going to be given a chance to come clean, come home, and do the right thing. And all these people over here on the two far right corners who don't want to come clean and operate lawfully under the American public law and honor their oath, they don't want to do that. They're just going to be held responsible, and you and I are going to do it because our common law courts are being stood up, and that's where we're going to do it. We're going to drag them into our courts in the same way they drag us into their courts and hold us accountable for false claims in commerce. We're going to drag them into our courts and hold them accountable for treason and breach of trust and breach of jurisdiction, and misimpersonation and false misrepresentation, coercion, extortion, racketeering. There's a whole list of crimes that they're committing against us, and they don't even think twice about it. So this all has to be corrected. It's being corrected, and the sooner that you guys join your American States Assemblies at the state level, county level, or help your American States Assemblies at the state level and the county level, as soon as you guys join us and we can build up our jury pools, the better off we're going to be. So here's a quick snapshot of what the government, the flow of power in America, the way it's supposed to be. So you have land and sea jurisdiction. One is unincorporated, which is the land, and one is incorporated, which is the sea. The land jurisdiction trumps the sea jurisdiction. It overrides. As you can see, it's on top. The land government is the highest power. The people are the land government. They are the highest power. They have the highest authority in our structure. And then it starts at the local level. Our towns and our parishes and our counties, when we're assembled, we are the highest authority on our land at the local level. And then we have our state level assemblies, which are basically an accumulation of county level members who decided to join the state level and help the state level government, American government. So you can join your county level government, you can join your state level government, you can join your federal government. And then with all that intact, we can form our Continental Congress, which is we're really close to beginning. We're going to get there. So we've got all 50 states in session, the Commonwealth courts are being stood up. We got our 4 pillars, our militia, our business, our administrative, and we got we're about to convene a Continental Congress, and we need your guys' help. We need more people. We need people to man these seats to get our original Continental Congress up and running, so that we can invoke ex parte Milligan and scoot this sea government that has been usurping. We can just scoot them on over. So as you can see, the bottom of the flow of power we're the employers on the top, the people, and then we have our employees, the federal government, United States Congress. That's the corporate Congress. And then there's the Congress of the United States of America. And these are the corporations. This is the US Inc. and USA Inc. And they have a president, and they have a Supreme Court. They have departments and agencies and states of states, and at 2 different levels. That's one's British territorial and one's municipal. They have their own British territorial counties and their municipal counties. They have townships in both of their jurisdictions, and they are all municipalities of their jurisdiction, and they call themselves citizens. They have a citizenry. Okay, they both have a British territorial U.S. citizenry and a municipal citizenry. Okay, so here you go. Now let's look at the next slide. The way power is supposed to flow, the correct way. The de jure land government on top, the people, the city, the county, the state, the federation, of States, the American States Assemblies, states of states, Confederation of States, Federal Republic, and then at the very, very bottom, we have our territorial and municipal subcontractors who work for us to perform governmental services under contract and under oath. And when they don't do it right, then we remove them, right? Which is what we need to do. So under their, as far as the way they have been operating, and the problem is currently, as you can see, the problem is they put themselves on above us, and they threw us down here at the very bottom and enslaved us and registered us in their jurisdiction via straw man registration, and they've enslaved the people, and they made us all citizens of their corporations. So they flipped the power flow completely upside down. And so, which is the reason why we had to call our American State Assemblies into session and flip this thing back in the right direction. So we put ourselves back on top and we put them back on the bottom, and we're doing the work, guys. We need you up here. We need you guys helping us. Okay? Flow of authority for proper peacekeeping and law enforcement in the United States of America, unincorporated, goes like this. The number one peacekeeper, county level, county sheriff elected. Okay, we have county sheriffs in all counties right now, and they're elected. They are actually the only lawfully publicly elected officials that we have. There are no others. Everyone else is de facto. And then most of our county sheriffs are acting as de facto sheriffs because they don't know how to uphold the actual American public law and keep the peace in all jurisdictions. Either they don't know, or they haven't been trained, or they actually refuse to do it, which would make them, bad sheriffs. We have good sheriffs who are trying to do it, and but we have sheriffs who don't do it. The next guy down would be your state marshal at arms. We actually have a Colorado state marshal at arms. He's a good friend of mine. He's doing a good job, and him and I work very closely together. Then we have our state militia commander. We don't have one right now. We currently are seeking someone to fill this seat, state militia commander. And then comes our state troopers and rangers. Now, those guys are working in de facto right now, but we're going to be bringing them back to original jurisdiction as soon as we get everything straightened out, which is really close. And then comes the Leos and the private Pinkertons, the cops, the private law enforcement. Those guys are all, subcontractors. They're just basically security. They're not real law, not necessarily peacekeepers. They're law enforcement. See the difference? Peacekeepers, American, law enforcement, de facto. Private. Then they have their private detectives, their private detectives, and their bailiffs, and whatnot, and all of their court staff. Okay, and they can be either state or state of state. So this, and then below that, on the federal international jurisdiction, you have federal marshals, also known as continental marshals. They're peacekeepers. And then below the continental marshals are the U.S. marshals, law enforcement, private. See, continental marshals are peacekeepers, public. They serve the public, the American public. U.S. marshals, law enforcement, private. They serve the corporations. They do not serve the public. Let's get that straight. And their agency personnel, law enforcement, they serve private corporations, not American public. The provost marshal should be a peacekeeping officer, but currently isn't, and he's not even there. I can't find him. There is no one in that office right now that I can find. It's supposed to be down at Fort Collins, but I have not been able to find it. All right, moving right along, guys. We're doing pretty good. I want to kind of drive this one home because it's very important. Like I said, I could have put 100 slides on here, but bear with me, guys. This is an article by Anna von Reitz, and she explains very clearly a right versus a privilege and the trap of incorporation. Many people are having a hard time recognizing the difference between a right and a privilege. And many corporations are having the same problem because they abuse their privileges as employers to such an outrageous and criminal extent The roots of the problem go back to the foreign for-profit governmental services corporations that the Brits and the Roman Catholic Church have been running on our shoulders for so long that many people have mistaken these subcontractors for our lawful government. These foreign principals and their corporations, both British Crown and municipal, that owe us good faith and service via constitutions, have contrived to turn the tables not only around but upside down. First, they had their undeclared foreign agents, the bar attorneys, advise everyone to incorporate everything. And I don't care if you're running a dog grooming business, able to groom 2 dogs a day, their advice was always the same: incorporate, incorporate, incorporate. That was purposeful, self-interested campaign on their part. These same undeclared foreign agents explain the benefits of bankruptcy protection at a public expense. They just forgot to explain that you are the public and that you would be paying for it and that you probably didn't need bankruptcy protection because you were already indemnified. Go figure that one out. Same with the churches, 501c3 churches. They didn't need to ask permission to be tax-free. They already had it. Why ask? Because the minute you ask permission, you put yourself in their jurisdiction. So you were already underwriting them and all their businesses. So why would you need to underwrite you? Think about it. And they forgot to explain that by registering your business as a corporation, your business was being enfranchised and you were voluntarily giving up your business assets and ownership control for free to these undisclosed foreign parent corporations. All the rights that an independent, unincorporated business enjoys were sacrificed in the bargain. These flim-flam men offered, and all those rights were unlawfully converted into privileges. This is how they propose to take over and run every aspect of your life using corporation franchises. If you can't claim that you are incorporated yourself, they will claim the existence of a corporation named after you that is incorporated as one of their franchises. That would be the straw bear. If that fails, they will target any incorporated employer or servicer to do the dirty work, withhold your earnings, otherwise called theft on possession, and turn over your bank accounts. They aren't yours so far as they're concerned, and tax you for foreign taxes that you don't owe. So federal income tax laws, as an example, note these laws. Who is the actual target? The employer. They make the employers responsible for collecting the tax for them. That's peonage, that's crime. And because the employers are also presumed to be corporations in their scheme, they have unbridled regulatory power over their franchises. So we've been enfranchised. They can fine and tax and harass and liquidate their franchises to wring money out of them, and that's exactly what they do. They can jail the unfortunate former owner for not doing whatever they demand. Millions of independent American businesses have unwittingly lost control of their own destiny and fundamental rights and have subjected themselves to foreign regulatory powers, sold the farm, and didn't even realize they were selling it when they incorporated. They did the same thing with civil rights, which are privileges, not rights. Yes, they pulled a fast one on the whole civil rights movement because equal civil rights are in fact privileges, and they can never be equal to natural and unalienable rights because civil rights can be taken away upon the whim of the government granting such rights. All federal citizens and municipal citizens of the United States are suffering the loss of their equal civil rights right now. Trump took them away and Biden hasn't restored them. Operation Warp Speed, Mr. Trump. So as it stands, millions of people had their basic rights suspended by the captains of ships made of paper. And the whole thing is bunko from day one. How else does a man like Joe Biden gain the authority to suspend the Constitution or steal 30% of your earnings or deny habeas corpus or suspend civil rights? How else does he get to charge off his corporation debts to you as mortgages held against your home and your land and your businesses? And not to mention, side note, how else did they exempt their own families and businesses from vaccination? And as well as, I don't want to get into that, but they did that. So the perpetrators will stand there and claim that you gave them permission to do this. These fascists will steal your farm via non-disclosed contracts and leave you to bleed, work you to death, and tax away all the profits you earn until you are in your grave, still wondering what the hell happened. And they will say that they didn't force you to incorporate your business. You did that on your own. It was your decision. Ask yourself, how could you make a good decision in your own self-interest when the pertinent information about the pros and cons of the incorporation were not disclosed to you, and the professionals you relied on and paid to help you had a secret, undisclosed agenda to entrap you and steal an inequitable free ownership interest in your business? So if you ever wonder why territorial income taxes are described as gift and estate taxes, because according to them, you voluntarily waived your birthright estate and donated it as a gift to them. They have been profiting handsomely off your estate, but you haven't seen a dime of it. And you never knew that you gifted it to them either. Ever wonder why municipal income tax is collected as a capital gains tax on corporate income when you don't have or operate a corporation, much less a foreign corporation? You were cheated. You have been a victim of lies by omission. And chances are, even if you asked point blank about the downsides of incorporating your unincorporated business, you never got the answer. I have gone into the offices of numerous attorneys and inquired about this exact subject and never gotten a straight answer from any of them, just a lot of worried looks. They should be worried because what they have done is highly unethical and insupportable inducement. They have encouraged millions of Americans to take an action that was and is directly detrimental to the victim's interest and beneficial for the attorneys and their bosses. This is more than passive conflict of interest. This is raw, brazen, in-your-face, undeclared direct conflict of interest. Your agreement to incorporate your business, like your agreement to waive your birthright estate, and your agreement to pay federal income tax, even though you probably don't have a dollar's worth of federal income, and your agreement to pay property taxes and accept their title to your land, which they ginned up by driving past your house and assigning a name and a street number to it, is all self-interested bunco on their parts. And the benefit they claim is all predicated on adhesion contracts. That's a key word, adhesion contracts. Adhesion contracts are both unlawful and illegal, but they have the force of law, and unless they are exposed for what they are. So we are exposing those contracts. At this point, you're probably wondering, object to who? Who is left to object to? All the authorities are in the same scheme. Even the U.S. military is dirty. It's like a pig saying no to the Dukes of Hazzard, or it seems. Say no, just the same. Say it often with gusto. You can unincorporate your business and you can simplify your life and protect your assets. It's called canceling the registration. And in most states, you can do it yourself without the assistance of an attorney. And you can see this article and over 4,000 other articles at honorvonrights.com. So, all right, guys, we're cruising right along. Taking a little bit more time than I thought, so I'm going to really get through these slides real quick. This is your actual American government structure. You can see on the top you have the Union, which is the United States, capital T. These are Republican states. They keep the national soil jurisdiction. And then we have our federation, which is the capital T, United States of America. And then we have the Confederation, which is our states of America. So our Republican states of the Union exist at the level of our national soil jurisdiction in each county, and taken all together, the counties comprise the United States, capital T, the United States, unincorporated. Our counties have no access to international jurisdiction via the state of the Union. That's why we have state government, unincorporated. The United States delegates power to the Federation of States and people operating in international jurisdiction of land and sea and air, which is the United States of America, unincorporated. Observe that the United States of America functioned for 5 years on its own in all foreign jurisdictions from 1776 to 1781 and is competent to do so again. None of these elements of our American government are based on any constitution. They exist because of the Declaration of Independence, which is the foundation of all else that follows. The Confederation ceased to function in 1860 when it lost the quorum necessary to conduct business. All powers exercised by the Confederation on behalf of the American states and people returned to the Federation by operation of law in 1860. The United States of America, our unincorporated Federation of States, was and is and remains our fundamental instrumentality to conduct both international and global business. Our Federation has been at peace since 1814, and it flies its own civil peacetime flag. That's why we fly our flag. So it's kind of the same chart. You know, you have the Federation of States, the United States of America Incorporated on the top, 1776 to present. We're still alive and well, and we're back in operation. We're filling seats. And then here below us, we still have these two nuts, the British Territorial U.S. and the Papist Municipal U.S. These are our subcontractors, okay? These two are the problem. And as soon as we go right down here and reconstruct our Confederation, unincorporated Confederation states of states, right here, then we can get rid of these guys. We can get rid of our subcontractors and operate all of this business through our very own unincorporated Confederation state of state contracting service, manned by actual American men and women. And then at the bottom, we have our federal republic, doing business as states of America, the United States statutes at large, international commercial law, the Constitution for the United States of America. So this is our American Federal Republic. When the Confederation ceased to function in 1860, so did the Federal Republic, which is an instrumentality of the Confederation. Neither the Confederation nor the Federal Republic could function during the Civil War, even through the member state-of-state organizations formed separate Confederate, even though the member state-of-state organizations formed separate confederacies. One for the North calling itself the Union, and one for the South calling itself the Confederate States of America. After the hostilities ended in 1865, the United States of America was not called into session, even though it is the only entity able to reconstruct both the Confederation and the Federal Republic, and also the only one competent to conduct business in their absence. This error has now been corrected, guys. We've fixed it. After all these years, we're now filling our seats. All 50 states of the Union have been called into session. All Americans are called to join their state assemblies. Let's go. This is a huge amount of information. This document here. Up on the top, you have our American branches of government. Okay, and if you come down here, the Union of States, which is the capital T, the United States, 1776, American General Public. Okay, right here. Living peoples, county government, and courts. This is what we're trying to get. This is where we need to be. We need to populate our county level government and stand up our county common law courts, okay? We use common law and grand juries. And then over here on this is our federation, the Federation of States, which is capital T, the United States of America, which is another portion of our government, holds the international land and sea jurisdictions. These are nation states, and they're not state of Virginia or state of Colorado, they're just Virginia, Colorado, Maine, New York. These are state citizens, actual living people, lawful persons manning these courts, okay? These are state governments and courts uses American states' common land and public law. This is our government. And then we have over here on the far right, our Confederation of States. It's under construction. We have to rebuild this over here. Holds the business global air jurisdiction. Okay. Now over here, there are legal persons. This is an American portion of our government that can operate in international jurisdiction and via state of state courts with all the constitutional guarantees and under the law of peace. So this is what we really need. Okay. Down here, you got the three branches of federal contract government. Right here, you have your American side, and then over here, you have your two foreign governments. On the far left, your American subcontractor is States of America, 1787. It's a federal republic, the Constitution for the United States of America, part of an international land and sea jurisdictions. Okay, these are our states. We are federal. There are federal legal persons and United States citizens with state fiduciaries and dependents. Vacant offices periodically filled by representatives. This branch has been missing since the 1860s and will be reconstructed. No titles of nobility, no bar attorneys, no political parties. A continental Congress will be established. And it will be published on the congressional record in our postal area courts and postal area courts and Article 1 courts, using the United States statutes at large and organic law, the international land and mercantile law. So these are the courts that we're trying to stand up right now, guys. Okay, on this far left bottom, these are our common law courts, our postal area common law courts. And then over here, of course, we don't need to talk too much about these criminals because here's your British territorial subcontractor and your Papist municipal subcontractor. And they do what they do, and you guys know what they do. So we need to do everything that we need to do to move them, to either bring them into honor or get them out of here. So that's all I want to say on that chart. Even though I can go for miles. So what are we doing? Like I said, we're standing up the courts. How do we change the courts? First thing you do, declare and record your natural birthright status as an American. Then join your state assembly. Organize your juror assembly to serve as jurors, elect officers, and provide court services, common law court. Invoke ex parte Milligan 71 USC 2 and notify admiralty and commercial courts to stand down. This is our ticket right here, guys. We have this. This is a big cannon for us. Once we stand up our assemblies, populate our assemblies and stand up our courts, we get to invoke ex parte Milligan. Supreme Court ruling says that when our courts are not available, their courts have to take care of business. But as soon as our courts are available, their courts have to stand down. The way to change the court is to change yourself and provide your own court services. The sooner the better. Let's go, man. I'm telling you guys, I've known this for 20 freaking years, and it's driving me nuts, gotta say. So the only way that these foreign courts can address you is because your own courts aren't in operation. The only way they can impose foreign law on you is by misidentifying you and impersonating you. See Amendment 11. You are exempt from foreign government. You are not subject to foreign jurisdiction of foreign government. Okay? Read your constitutions. If you're sick of injustice, it's within your ability to organize your state juror assembly and put an end to this trespass. This is a quick example of ex parte Milligan. Basically, the president cannot create military tribunals to try citizens as long as civil courts are operational. So that's what it's saying right there. As soon as we stand our courts up, their courts stand down. It's unconstitutional to try civilians by military tribunals unless there is no civilian court. So you see why we need these courts. You see the whole goal here, guys. This is the goal. This is the prize, the court. Once we stand up these courts, we invoke ex parte Milligan, we get to conduct business. We get to handle our own affairs. We are in charge. We're empowered. That's our power. Okay, so the assembly process, it's a 12-step process. This is 12 steps. What they say. First of all, the United States of America, unincorporated, is the summoning authority, calls the states into session, done. Volunteers from the states step forward to do their paperwork, done. Volunteers are vetted as coordinators and begin to organize the work to be done, done. Assemblies are populated, done. General Assembly is established, done. We've already done all this. I'm telling you, it's all already done. International, also called business assembly established. It's done. Our jural assemblies and our courts. Okay, this is where we're at. We're on number 7. We've established our jural assembly. We're trying to pull people from the jural assembly to fill the court positions. We're in the process of firing up the courts. That's where we're at. We also need to assemble our militia and get it organized. Okay, we pull the once everybody papers up. Everybody who papers up as an American national is militia. And we need to organize a militia command post with a militia commander. Election of session officers and officials. You know, that's all happening right now to some degree, but there's a lot of work still yet to be had. Officer training and transition, all happening right now, all happening. Okay, official training, it's all happening. Assembly process, once it's complete, our coordinators will sunset, our courts are up and running, we're in business, we're taking care of ourselves. We're self-governed, we are free, we're home. We have no, once we do this, we are free, guys. This is the ticket to freedom. So, like I said, a summoning authority calls the states into session. And in our case, it would be the head of state, which is James Clinton Belcher, who holds the seals and the flags. Okay. Everything has to happen in sequence. Okay. Assemblies are in one of 3 conditions at all times, either recessed or not in session or in session. We are in session right now. Okay. That is a good thing. You guys got to know this. We've come a long way. But we're not yet in full session. We need more people. We need more help. We need you guys to come join us and help us. Traditionally, American State Assemblies met only once a year in the winter after the Christmas holidays, addressed their business and went home. The elected officials and officers maintained a session. That is, kept the minutes and the records until the next session. All elected officials and appointed officers made up the standing committee. So yeah, I don't want to go through all this, but basically, you know, right now we have coordinators and we're populating the assemblies and we're having elections, okay? And we're starting from scratch again. And so we've got a lot of work to do. Even though we've already done a lot, we've got a lot of work to do. Okay, guys, we just need more manpower. That's all. And this is all, all of this, we have what's called the Jural Assembly Handbook. Okay, and it explains everything on how to assemble, how to build your assembly, and all of the positions and the duties and responsibilities of the seat holders and everything. It's all in the Jural Assembly Handbook. It's all ready to go. You guys don't have to recreate the wheel. We have all the instructions on how to do this already, just ready to go. It's a curriculum ready to be delivered. So the plan for reconstruction. You know, stand up your state, number 1. Recharter your federal states and states, number 2. Hold a Continental Congress, number 3. Boom, 1, 2, 3, just like that. We're in the process of getting all this done right now. Like I said, once we hold a Continental Congress, we can take care of the business that needs to be brought forward, which is everything that you guys can think of. You know, we the people will act in our actual capacity as state nationals and state citizens and do the work of reconstruction, create our own American subcontractors to do the principal share of work as assigned under the actual federation, the federal constitution. The people of each one of our states need to charter their state's commercial corporation under their own state sovereign authority and then join as a member of the states of America, a perpetual union and confederation of states serving as the federal branch of the federal government. See, that all has to happen still, guys. We have to do this. We have to build our own federal government. That will put an immediate end to a lot of the monkey business and leave nobody any cause to complain about our action to take back control of our country and its assets and its service contracts. Also acting as the people, as members of our state assembly and our state jural assembly, we can address the multitude of international crimes which have been practiced against us. Just imagine that. Just imagine the work we can do with our courts, guys. Just imagine the good we can do. You know, the lives we can save. How happy our kids will be in the future. Just imagine that. Okay, so goddamn, that fucking touches me. I think about my kids all the time. I do this for my kids, man. So this is a document that I found on a friend of mine sent me this. Actually, it's from the actual United States of America Department of Travel, 2000 Pennsylvania Avenue. I can't read it. Washington D.C. So this comes from Governor Pat McCrory, concerning, and this was in 2015. Because that was when we actually bankrupted the territorial United States. Or the municipal, I can't remember. One of them we bankrupted in 2015 and one in 2017. But when we started doing what we're doing, we started our work. They had to come to realize, and I guess they were prompted to put this document out because it says RE violation of U.S. Supreme Court rulings regarding right to travel, education of law enforcement, and judiciary. So, dear Governor, we are sending this correspondence to make you aware of the unconstitutional acts committed by your enforcement agencies and state courts against the people of North Carolina is where this happened, but it's everywhere, guys. These acts may or may not have been committed knowingly or unintentionally, but we are writing your office to ensure that these violations are brought to your attention so that they can be addressed and corrected. As you may or may not know, there are people in your state whose status is ostensibly different than the average U.S. citizen and are considered foreign nationals or American nationals with certain safeguards and protections under the law. Our primary concern is that their travel rights in your state are not infringed. In order to educate your law enforcement regarding foreign nationals or American nationals in your state, you can call the Department of State here in Washington, D.C. to get clarity. Yep. So they have training. They actually have training. So these guys have been informed, and they have been they know that they need to train their officers on how to deal with foreign nationals, American state nationals. So let me just go to the next slide. Okay, here it says there's a fee schedule affidavit. Notice to law enforcement and public officials regarding UCC filings and insurance bond claims. Notice to agent is notice to principal, notice to principal is notice to agent. Please be advised that if any member of the organization is unlawfully kidnapped or forced into contract without committing a crime involving a victim, damages, and legitimate witnesses to the alleged crimes, commercial invoices and financing statements will immediately be filed with the Uniform Commercial Code against all of the public official debtors involved, the agency debtors they represent, and the superior officers responsible for the conduct of its subordinates. Any violations caused by forced contracts entered under color of law to conspire against the individual non-citizen national or its related trust or estate will be invoiced as, but not limited to, the following: $200,000 per occurrence, $300,000 per tortfeasor. So then you have a list of 20 different crimes that they could possibly commit against you: deprivation of rights, conspiracy against the rights of citizens. And that's Title 18, 241 and 242, right there, the first two right there. So when an undeclared foreign agent acting under color of law violates your rights as American national, you hold them accountable under Title 18, 241 and 242, deprivation of rights under the color of law, and conspiracy against the rights of citizens. That's real, guys. That's how you get them. You can also get them for emotional distress, mental anguish and abuse, peonage, unlawful incarceration, malicious prosecution, defamation of character, slander, libel, kidnapping, malfeasance, slavery, extortion, robbery, perjury, subordination of perjury, RICO, violation of RICO Act, that's international crime, violation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and breach of trust. So these are some of the crimes we've been committing against us. And it's right here, it says right there, they're saying that they're telling their own staff that if you guys fuck up, you do this, you're going to be charged. So we have that That's something to consider. So here's something I pulled off of the SaveOurSheriff.com website. And even our sheriff's offices are actual county elected sheriffs. So most of them are pretty smart guys. And you know, we gotta love our sheriffs. They're between a rock and a hard place. We gotta really help these guys out. And you know, get to be friends with them, get to know them, and their deputies, and you know, bring them this education and see what we can do to you know, get this information out to all of our good people. And I consider our sheriff, you know, to be someone who is a good listener, and he's willing to listen. And so, and he told me himself that he'd be willing to look at this information and study it, and he admitted that he needs it. And so, God bless him. It says nullification. Jury nullification is what we do, guys. It's what we just how we knock them down. We nullify them. It's the key towards reasserting the fundamental liberties of our founding fathers that our founding fathers fought so hard to preserve and instill in the United States Constitution. The U.S. Constitution is a compact between the sovereign states of the Union, outlining the limited powers of the federal government, in addition to direct prohibitions of certain activities by the federal and state governments. So this is a sheriff right here telling you point blank, you know, what the deal is. There is a big difference between sovereign states of the Union and states of states, federal government. And he knows it. And there's a case, Mac Prince versus USA. If you look it up, Supreme Court ruling, Mac Prince versus USA. Sheriff Mac entered in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that the county sheriff elected has he can use his own discretion. This is how the judge put it. He gets to use his own discretion. He can choose whether or not he wants to uphold the American public law and the common law or not. Isn't that something? That's what was ruled in court. So our sheriffs have to make that choice on their own. You know, they have to make that choice on their own. Yeah. So our sheriff here in town, you know, I would imagine that if you were to stand up in your power and educate yourself properly, and the way we're doing is, if we stand up our assembly, if we get us a nice little general assembly going, he would back us up. He would say, wow, you know, like, wow, you guys are awesome. I got your back. That's what he would do. And then we would be able to take that general assembly and we would be able to do business right here in Crestone, right here in Swath County. We could walk right into the courthouses, even one of them, one here in town and one up in the county level, and we can conduct court business. How cool is that? The sheriff and his deputies will support it. They will support that, because that means that we've done our part. And until we do our part, they cannot support us. You guys got to get that. The cops aren't bad. Most of them. Some of them are. Some of them are. I'm not going to say they're not all of it. Some of our, most of our cops are really good-hearted people, good intention. And they've just been tricked and deceived and lied to, and they're missing, and they have not received full disclosure like this, like you guys are receiving right now. And I would imagine that if they would have full disclosure and proper training and proper education, then they would be able to conduct business properly as far as status, standing, and jurisdiction goes. That they would be able to understand the difference between American national on a land and soil jurisdiction and a federal employee or federal dependent in the international jurisdiction of the sea. And they would be able to, you know, if they pull you over on the side of the road, they would have to determine the jurisdiction right out of the gate, and not leave it up to the judge. Forget the judge; he's a foreign agent. I mean, you know, the lawyers and the judges, they're foreign agents acting under color of law. You know, they don't have any jurisdiction outside the 10-mile square of the District of Columbia. You know, and I showed you that way up here. You know, right there. You know, there's your municipal government. You know, they only have jurisdiction within the 10-mile square of the District of Columbia. And they're out of bounds when they are running these district courts right down here in the town of Crestone and even at the county level. You see, this all happened, you know, and it all has to, as the thing is bound, so it is unbound. That's a maximum law. So we've been we've been bonded in the courts, and we need to unbind ourselves. So that's it, guys. That's that. I know, man, that took quite a bit, but thank you for sticking it out. I hope you learned something.
Well, we thank you, We really appreciate all the knowledge. We gotta be quiet and listen to the knowledge there. Right now,
Yeah,
I'm gonna take a bathroom break real quick, and then let Jr. He has some questions, and I have some questions and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you,
Thank you, Hervé.
Well, the question I've got, there's like 1,000. I don't know. I don't even know where to start, except for, okay, you say about the assemblies. Okay, if I'm not a part of any kind of federal contract, which I'm not, and I want to become a part of an assembly, so I have to be vetted. What does that mean? Because the way you explained it is I'm not part of any kind of federal corporation or anything like that, and because I'm not, I'm an American State National already. Is that correct?
Well, you're a veteran, right?
Right.
So we have a special set of documents for veterans that allows you to repatriate back to your original jurisdiction. Because when you signed up for service, you basically became that. That's what made you. That's how you become a U.S. citizen. Right. And so you need to expatriate from that citizenship. As well as, since you're a veteran, we have a form DD 2168, especially for you guys,
right,
that brings you out of service. So you're no longer in service to the military when you come home.
Well, that was my next question, actually. So you answered that.
So as a veteran, you got to do one extra document. That's all. But in order to join our American States Assembly, yes, you have to record your credentials, and you have to prove your status. You can't, not just anybody. You see all these people crossing the border, right? Like they can't just come up to us and join us. You have to, you have to have been born on this land or domiciled. If you weren't born here, and if you've been here for 7 years. With no felonies or no welfare, then you can become an American State National.
Okay.
But and if you were born here, then you were born an American State National. So so you don't have to. All you have to do is correct the record.
Correct the record. That's just record. Go down and record at the county clerk. Right?
So that's how you join your assembly.
Oh, okay.
Correct the record first. Join your assembly as a national. Get a little time under your belt, then join your assembly. I mean, join the jury pool first as a national. Learn the ropes, and then become a state citizen. Fill a seat. We need all kinds of positions. We need our own sheriffs and deputies and marshals and court clerks and coroners, and all of the same positions that are in the corporate de facto. We need those positions filled in the jury.
Right. Once we fill those, they have to vacate.
Boom. Once we fill those, and we are filling them now. We're waiting for you guys. We got some positions filled. We need more. But once we get enough positions filled, we can stand up. All our pillars are stood up, and we'll go into that's a whole nother presentation. Video. Standing up the pillars, but once the pillars are stood up within the assembly structure, then that gives us the power to convene the common law court and the constitutional Congress. And we're not that far away.
And once you are all papered up and then the courts are all there, then you go to American sovereign law courts and not maritime courts. And if you're maritime law, you can't go to our courts, right?
Well, both sets of courts will be operational. So if you are a federal employee, federal dependent, U.S. citizen or citizen of the U.S., a corporate citizen, then you would have to go to those courts. Those are your courts. If you are registered, if you into their jurisdiction. Currently,
are those courts any different than our courts? I mean,
those courts. Their courts operate in international jurisdiction of the sea under special admiralty jurisdiction. That's not American. Okay.
Well, is the American courts different than theirs, and how are they different?
Yeah, our courts operate under the land and soil jurisdiction, common law, American public law, statutes at large, Declaration of Independence. See, it's a whole different set of laws.
Mhm.
We are common law, and they are statutory law.
So say if you were, maritime law and you murder somebody, you get life in prison. And if you murder somebody, just figure of speech, and you murder somebody, but you're actually an American State Nationalist, and you go to that court, what would it be
You wouldn't go to
less
their
or-
court. If you're American State National, the reason why we need our courts is because we need to service our own people. So if you're an American State National and you commit a crime, you'll be held accountable in a Commonwealth court, not a maritime court.
Mm.
If you're a citizen of the corporation, then you'll be held in a maritime. You'll be held accountable in a maritime court.
Would that
So
be
we have
less
our
time?
courts for our people, their courts for their people.
Would that be less
So-
time because you went that way instead of maritime law? I mean, is there any?
No. You don't. As an American national, you don't belong in those courts. You will never step foot in those courts again, ever,
Well,
for any reason. If you
well-
commit a crime, you're gonna be held in our court. We're
Yes,
gonna take you to our court.
I understand that, but will that time, if you're an American State Nationalist, would that time give you less time because you created a crime than it would
No.
be in a
No.
maritime
No.
law? That's what I'm saying.
No,
Like,
I
would it
think
be
our
less or would it be
punishment,
more? Would it be
our
more?
punishment is even harsher.
It's even harsher
If you
relative. So pay
We have
attention.
capital punishment for treason, which is hanging. If you commit treason against your country, you get hung.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
what
common
I'm
law.
trying to get out there. Relative.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you don't want to mess around under common law. Like I said, it's a great responsibility to be an American national or American state citizen. You have to really know how to conduct yourself. You have to know how to present yourself.
Yep.
We are really very well educated people who know the law. We know our law. We know how we're supposed to act, and we have our 10 commandments, and we stand under those morals, and we stand under our public law and our 10 commandments and our statutes at large and our Declaration of Independence and all those other documents I showed you. It's a whole different jurisdiction, whole different set of courts, whole different court. So when you come home to land and soil, you're going to get to use your courts to conduct business. And if you're a criminal, you're going to be held in the common law courts. Those who don't come home to the land and soil and remain in the sea will have to conduct business and be held accountable in their court.
Yeah, in their court. Yes.
And there's no crossing over. No crossing over. It's different jurisdiction, different body politic, completely different law.
Yeah, I was just trying to clarify for everybody out there. So.
This is where everybody gets confused. What form of law do you operate under? Are you a U.S. citizen? Well, then that means you operate under international jurisdiction.
Right.
Yeah. And that's jurisdiction of the sea, and that where everything is dead and it's all fiction. And there's 80 million rules, codes, and regulations out there, for you to follow, if that's what you want. But if you don't want that, then come on home, and stand under common law and help us stand up our courts, and we can handle our own business, and we don't have to call on them.
Exactly.
In fact, we don't have any use for them anymore.
Exactly, because all the foreign agents can just disappear now, right? Or
They
or
They
come
won't
over to our side.
disappear. They won't disappear because they're going to have to conduct their business,
Well, of
But they're
course
going to
not.
have
They've
to
been
stay
here
in their
for
lane.
centuries.
Well, I think
They'll disappear. They'll disappear in the sense that they have to stay in their lane. They can't come into our lane.
That's it.
Well, they'll
They will
probably
disappear from our business affairs.
Well, they'll probably also start diminishing once they start losing all the money that they've been.
Oh, they're going to want to come home with us.
Yes.
Well, I was going to
Yes.
lead to that next. Is that
Yeah.
if these people
They're going to come and join us. Watch. As soon as we do what we do, they're going to freak out. And they're not going to have as much freedom as they had before in their courts, because we're going to be right there watching over them and forcing them to file their foreign agent registrations and everything. It's going to become really hard for them to operate in that jurisdiction. In fact, they're not going to be able to. Eventually, they're not going to be able to do anything. They're not going to have a job. They're going to want to become counselors in law and come and help us stand up our courts and operate our courts. That's what all these bar lawyers are going to end up doing. I promise you. I guarantee it. all you bar lawyers out there listening to me, surrender that bar card and come home to your land and soil and help us staff these common law courts and do the right thing. And you'll be much happier.
That's right. You all you lawyers and judges out there, don't be crickets. You know.
Yeah. Come on, do the right thing, man. We love you guys. You're our brothers and sisters, and you've been lied to and deceived, and most of you don't even realize it. So we need you guys to come home and actually help us to stand up our American common law courts.
Exactly.
And our American assemblies.
I'm loving this. I'm loving all of it.
Our sheriffs, our public servants, all of them, they need this information. That's the problem, is none of this has been disclosed. This has all been omitted. Lies by omission. Think about it. Omission. Lies by omission. When they don't have all the information, how can they make an educated decision? They can't.
They can't.
So that's why it's up to us to get this information out. And that's why I built this presentation and why I do everything I do, really, why I studied for the last 20 years. I've been studying this stuff. I love that God showed me a way to learn this. God gave me the ability, the desire to go in and study every single day for the past 20 years. I've studied. And so, when I made Honor on Rights, I came across her work in 2014. I had already been studying, you guys. I've been studying a lot for 10 years already. And she just blew my mind with her articles. And so, I took everything that I had learned and put her stuff on, put it all together. And I've got a masterpiece now. She filled in all the missing pieces for me and for everybody that I know that are people like me that have been doing this for years, people I've been working with for years and years and years. They all know that, wow, on Von Rights, she filled in all of our missing pieces. She showed us how to get the paperwork right. She showed us where all the violations are. She showed us the paper trail to the District of Columbia. She showed us the procedures. She wrote the General Assembly handbook. She's been having Monday night calls, Monday night webinars every single night for the past 3 years. That's dedication, guys. She's almost 70 years old, and she shows up every Monday night to give you guys a report, to give us a report and teach us about our history, our true history, our law, our status, our standing, our jurisdiction, how to stand up. She's teaching us everything. And, and God bless her, guys, because think about it. Every Monday night, that's dedication. I ran a food ministry for almost 3 years, and every Saturday I was there. Hefe was there. And Aaron and I, we fed people every Saturday for almost 3 years. And that was, man, I'm telling you what, to be there every Saturday to feed those people because they're waiting for their food, they're counting on.
And
it's like, it was better than the food bank, better than the food bank, right? So, we did that. And for Anna to be able to put on a Monday night webinar every Monday for the past, 3 years, how long it's been, 2019, 4 years. Wow. And I've learned a lot from her. That's what I'm trying to say. I listened to every single one of her webinars. I've read all 4,000 plus articles that she's written. And I still read other things. There's other books. There's The Excellence of Common Law by Brett Winters. There's all of David E. Robinson books. You guys have probably read some of those. There's a lot of stuff out there to study, but you really want to keep up with Anna Von Rights. She's just miles ahead of everybody.
Yep.
She's the boss, period. End of story. So, and I know that there's some people out there, there's some naysayers and whatnot, they're just afraid. They're afraid of change.
That was one of my next questions there. Hey, and on top of it, brother, can you bring us back to the main screen and then drop this and then bring us back to the full main screen for us, please?
Got it.
Thanks, sir. Hey, there's the man with the master plan teaching you everything that you need to know to be able to put your foot directly on the soil there and be able to claim it as a true living man or woman on this planet Earth. So, but like you said, there's like a lot of those naysayers out there, bro. I'm fully like planted with Anna Von Rights, and everything that I've seen, through learning with you and also seeing people come in and out of our community trying to speak the same thing that you're trying to teach us, you know, and how they come in. And then how they're all willing and gun-hoing, and the next thing you know, they just drop you off, and then they run, and, you know, they just leave you out and hanging with some faulty paperwork that could get you in trouble. So
no real solution.
So yeah, exactly. So that's within my eyes. How do you feel? What do you say about all those naysayers about Anna von Reitz?
I would say to them, you know, do your own research, do your own due diligence. Don't listen to what other people say. Don't listen to anybody, especially on the internet. I mean, you get on the internet and I mean, come on, guys, you know it. There's nothing but shit out there. You just gotta watch out. But there's good stuff, you know. You gotta learn how to tell, you know, you gotta learn shit from Shinola. That's what Grandma said. You know, and so do your own research. You know, everything that we teach you comes from a research team of 90 people and hundreds of other people researching the congressional records and the archives and, you know, all of the actual factual information that we need to make educated decisions is right here.
And then CPR, Crestone Podcast and Radio, will actually throw up some stuff over the screen that actually directs you to where you need to go as we do our editing. On top of this, it directs you directly where to go to Anna von Reitz or American State Nationalist.org. And back to you, Aha.
So it's the American States Assembly.net.
That's it.
And then AnnaVonReitz.com. And if you go to the website, probably either one, you can click on webinars and sign up to receive an invite to the Monday night webinar. Everybody should be doing that because she's keeping us up to speed every Monday on current events, you know, and things have changed since she started writing, just so you know. So you don't want to start at the beginning of the 4,000 articles necessarily. You kind of want, the way I see it is you should start from the most current article and then read backwards. That to me just seems like a more logical way to read her articles because things have changed and progressed over the years since she began the articles for the better. So just so you know, you go back and read an old article, it might be conflicting with some of the newer information. Just so you know, you might experience that.
You got to work the bugs.
Normal course of business. But those are our websites. Those are the websites that, you know, where you can get more information. And the webinars, of course, you know, we have a General Assembly meeting for Colorado, and we talked about inviting the general public to these meetings to try to get more people into the jury pool, which is what we need, where we need you guys to be in the jury pool. As nationals, you know, sitting there ready to do something or do nothing, you know, whatever you want. Just that's where we need you, though.
Got to be there.
Even if you join the jury pool as American National, don't do a damn thing, you're helping us. Yeah. You're still one more man, one more woman in the pool.
Yeah, that's where I'm at for the most part, but I still got to do a little bit more to be able to get up a little higher.
Yeah. So if you join the jury pool and you watch us, you start watching us work, and you think it's cool, and you want to help us, like I want to help these guys, man. These guys are cool. Then become an assembly member, and you know, and tell them that you want to be a state citizen and fill a seat in your assembly and do some work. You know, be a sheriff or a sheriff's deputy, be a court clerk. You can be a marshal at arms. Actually, we need a marshal at arms at the county level. We're looking for deputies right now. As a matter of fact, we're looking for marshal at arms deputies, continental marshal deputies. Just so you guys know, you know, I am personally looking for people to help build the Continental Marshal Service, because that's where I intend to serve, is in the Continental Marshal Service. And I've already, you know, contacted them and, you know, been through a vetting process and a background check and passed all my exams, and I'm in the queue right now to be. I'm just waiting. You know, they've already offered me the position, and it's just the only reason I haven't received the commission yet is because the Continental Marshal Service is still under construction, and it's about, I think we're almost 70% complete of construction of the service. And then as soon as the assemblies get a little further along and the common law, some of the courts get stood up, then we're going to get our commissions. You see, that's going to be a beautiful day for me. I'm looking forward to it, you know, to serve in my common law court arena. And it's going to be a beautiful day for me to see our Saguache County Assembly stood up. And it's going to be an even more beautiful day when our Saguache County Assembly walks down to the town hall with the drill assembly and walks in and conducts court.
That's what we're talking about. Taking over.
Well, it's not taking it over, it's taking it back.
Taking it back.
Yeah, because it was all, you know, taken from us. So we have every right to take what's ours back.
With an unconscionable contract.
Yeah, they that's how they operate. Right. Yeah.
That's how they operate with your land deed and the whole 9 yards. That's a whole nother podcast. But
Yeah.
So I mean, if you guys got any other questions, I mean, be happy to answer. I mean, I'd love to do this again. You know, we don't have to stretch it out so far, but
Brother Aha, we really appreciate you, your knowledge, and moving us forward within God's eye, you know, on the solid soil of Mother Earth. You know, we really appreciate your words and your time. The presentation was immaculate.
Very good.
I don't think I'm going to change anything of it. I mean, like, I don't think I have to do any overlays. I think you really nailed it. Totally helped us out. Helped out a lot of my questions on top of it. I've been listening and listening and listening and listening, and it didn't really start to ding in my head until tonight. Like it started. It dinged, but I had missing gaps, I should say, and it really.
There you go. That's why I'm here.
And it really filled in those missing gaps. So I just want to say, everybody out there in the world today, just pay attention, because this is not happening only in the United States. This is happening around the world, in every single country. They have their own assemblies that are happening out there to be able to bring your life back. You know, this I know I have seen. You can all look it up for yourself. I just want to say thank you to my brother JR for being here, and most importantly, our host and our guest, but mostly our host, my brother for 10 years, my God's brother, Aha. I love him, and I love his wife, and God bless you both, brother.
Well, yeah, we've been here for 10 years, and we're very grateful to be here, Cresto. And we've been in service the whole time that we've been here. Yes. Just, you know. So, you know, and this is how we serve. You know, this is what we do with our time. This is what I do with my spare time. You know, I'm creating PowerPoints and reading and studying, and I'm going to this assembly meetings and attending all the marshals meetings. And, you know, I'm learning as fast as I possibly can, because that's what needs to happen for me to bring it to you and get you guys on the same track.
I hear you every once in a while upstairs in my bedroom, because my wife is sitting there listening to all the podcasts. I mean, the Zoom meetings. I'm like, oh, hey, Aha's in my house. Oh, no, hold on. It's just a Zoom meeting, you know. I'm like, so, you know, she surpassed me, you know, her knowledge, the whole 9 yards. She's totally into it, you know, and I support it 100%.
I'm very proud of Afton.
You know, I am too, and I got to give her.
I'm so proud of Afton.
I got to give her props. You know,
I mean, she really stepped it up. She went in there and she studied and she observed, and she was in observation mode for quite a while. But then all of a sudden, one day, boom, she stepped up to be state court clerk.
She took off out of the gates, bro.
Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, there's Afton. Afton's gonna take a seat. She's taking a state seat. You know,
I know.
She's gonna be. She's a hero.
I know. Well, let's give it up for that one.
Well, I have to say, sitting here and not being a part of this ever before, and now hearing all this, I got to say I'm excited. I'm excited because now I know there's actually a way to fix the problem. Because sitting at home and hearing all this crap and watching all this stuff go on TV and seeing that it's just people being overrun by the government. And you sit back and you say, well, how can I get involved to where I can actually put forth an effort to make stuff happen? And now here it comes up and AHA steps up before us. And you handed one hell of a presentation, my friend. I am very well informed now. I want to seek more from this. Yes, we are going to do more of these podcasts.
Yes, we want you back.
Yes, please make this happen. Like maybe if we could do it as every Saturday or Sunday, maybe.
We can do like a once a week thing for a while, because we're competing with the proponents of the municipal government of the town of Baca right now.
Yes.
Right. And that's what
we need to step up our game, to block that.
Exactly. And that's the one thing that ever since you mentioned to me that to me the first time, I've been wanting to get involved in the municipality part of it to stop that from happening. Because that will allow the foreign country to come in here, this foreign entity to come in and rule our land.
See, and that's a common misconception for people to think that they can go into the belly of the beast and fix it. Can't do it. You're not going to go in and fix the dragon from his own court. You're not going to change the king's mind. You're not going to change the pope's mind. That's their business. You don't have no business doing business with the king or the pope. Just get out of there. Come on home and let's do business at home. Let's take care of our business.
Ooh, there's an opener right there. That's an opener for the show right there.
Right.
That's right.
That's it.
Let's serve the people, not the king or the queen. Or the pope.
Right.
People serving people.
I like that.
Not people serving kings. No. We are kings and queens. We were granted sovereignty. We are sovereign kings and queens in our own right on our own land, under common law. It's not lawlessness. It's not anything like that. I mean, we have American common law, American public law, and we stand under that.
Okay. Well, we thank you, Mr. AHA. Thank you for your AHA moments, and we're going to tune in and tune out so you can catch the end of it as we do our little closing, or if not, you can stop recording any time that you want, but we love you.
Right.
And here we go, side by side with JR and Jeff here with CPR, Crestone Radio and Podcast, bringing you the true news and how to get back to your true self on the land and the soil. Forget the maritime law, and let's get back over here to our law, the land of the soil for the people.
Right. Come on home.
Peace out there, AHA. Love you. Until next time.
Love you, everyone.
Peace.
Recording stopped.